Okay, this is going to be a complicated story. I'm going to do the best I can to explain this to you, but we have yet another corroboration of the fact that this plan to remove sanctions from Russia was something that Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen, worked on, and that it did make its way to the White House and to disgraced National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. We've learned now that a Russia-friendly Ukrainian lawmaker has gone rogue and participated in passing along these peace proposals to Trump's inner circle. I'm talking about Andrey Artemenko, who's a conservative pro-Russian member of the Ukrainian parliament, and he used to be a part of Ukraine's far-right radical party. Late last month, he met in New York with Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, and Russian-American advisor to the Trump Organization, Felix Sater, who has in the past been convicted of felony fraud and stabbing a man in the face. The three of them talked about Artemenko's plan for resolving the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. This is the plan that surrounded Michael Flynn's resignation, which was reportedly hand-delivered by Michael Cohen, Trump's personal attorney. This is the plan, which included the lifting of American sanctions against Russia, which would also allow Russia to seize the Crimean Peninsula, or effectively not have to give it back. And in return, Russia would stop supporting the separatists. The plan also included some revealing information about Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko that would have forced him to resign. It would be an all-around win for Russia. And there's a number of different scandals here. Scandal one is that the Ukrainian government has said that actually Artemenko had no authority to negotiate peace talks with foreign governments, and he's now being investigated for treason. But the real U.S.-centric scandal is that, again, it is more corroboration that indeed Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer, participated in and delivered this to the White House and or National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Now, earlier this month, based on the New York Times reporting, Michael Cohen admitted this. After the entire Michael Flynn scandal exploded, we've heard denials that Michael Cohen was actually involved. We now know that Michael Flynn was forced to resign, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone but the Trump administration at this point, Pat, is confirming the plan existed, Michael Cohen was involved, and it was given either directly or via White House proxy to Michael Flynn. Once again, another aspect of the Trump-Russia connections that are initially dismissed by anybody who can call it fake news, and it ends up being corroborated by multiple sources.
And how telling is it that Artemenko is being investigated by his own Ukrainian government? And, he's a member of parliament there. Yeah. Whereas us, on the other hand, you'd have people who weren't even part of the administration at the time, were the incoming members of Trump's administration. And maybe Michael Flynn is losing his job over this, but otherwise they're kind of left off the hook, legally speaking.
Well, Michael Cohen has been claiming that he never gave the plan to Flynn or discussed it with anyone at the White House. That he's made now 3 or 4 conflicting comments. He wasn't involved, he was involved, but he didn't give it to Flynn, he gave it to Flynn, whatever. The White House says it has no record of receiving such a document whatsoever, which I'm finding increasingly difficult to believe. Felix Sater, Artemenko, and the New York Times all stand by their claims that Michael Cohen gave the plan to Flynn. And by the way, why is Trump's personal lawyer, who presumably has nothing to do with this administration, even remotely involved in this stuff? So Cohen has changed his story multiple times, confirmed to the New York Times initially that he had the meeting and that he delivered the plan to the White House, to the New York Times. Then told the Washington Post that he didn't deliver it, didn't even know what the plan was. Then he told Business Insider that the meeting happened and that Russia thinks the plan would create world peace, but that he didn't give the plan to the White House. Then last week, NBC News asks Cohen, did you deliver the plan to the White House? And without officially admitting anything, Cohen said, so what? What's wrong with that? And then on Friday, Cohen told CNN that he had dinner with Artemenko, but that the topic of Ukraine just didn't come up. I'm counting like 5 different positions on this from Michael Cohen.
Right. It's kind of Exhibit A when you think about the connections between Trump and Russia, or at least the Trump campaign, the Trump team in Russia. Because, I mean, this is part of the story that they've kind of had to admit to.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump firing Flynn over Russian connections leads you to believe that there's more things there, and it kind of gives it credibility.
And by the way, fun fact, speaking of credibility, the Trump-Russia blackmail dossier claims that Cohen met with a Russian representative in Prague to discuss Russia's hacking of the DNC. Another aspect that may be true, although again, initially, supposedly Cohen never went to Prague, and I guess he showed his passport to Trump, but who really knows? The news is fake, but the leaks are real. That's the new phrase of Trump's that I'm going to be repeating whenever we talk about this.
GameFly is sort of like Netflix for video games. They have over 8,000 new and classic games for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, and a bunch of other platforms. And you can play as many games as you want for one monthly fee. And if you find some games you want to keep, you can buy them for a low used price. There's never any due dates or late fees, and our audience can get a free 30-day trial at gameflyoffer.com/TDPS. The games are shipped directly to you with return envelopes included. There's no contracts, and you can rent games through the mobile app. Get the free 30-day trial for the David Pakman Show audience and support our show by going to gameflyoffer.com/TDPS.